Hi there, thanks for joining me for today's workout. I'm so glad you could make it. Today we're going to go through a full body Pilates workout, starting with some abdominal work lying down, moving into some bridge work using our glutes, hamstrings and legs, and then some more leg work in 4-point kneeling as well. Let's get into it. So making your way down onto the mat, lying down on your back in that supine position. Finding your comfortable space here. To start off, we're going to be in that neutral spine as we start warming up the abdominal muscles. Feet flat on the mat to start with, knees about hip width apart, shoulder blades back and down, neck nice and relaxed. Have a nice big deep breath here. And out. One more big breath. Filling the lungs, and out. Bringing both arms up towards the sky, palms facing in. From here, we're just going to lower one arm at a time over the head to start waking the core up. So as you lower and then returning to that starting position, keeping the ribs down on the rest of the body, making sure they're not flaring up as you take your arm above the head. Exhale to lower. Inhale to return. Let's go one more on either side. All right, let's go take both arms together now and raising back up to the roof. A little bit more demanding here with both arms. Really make sure you're keeping those ribs down, connected to the body. Using the breath. Exhaling to lower. Inhale to lift back up. Nicely done. We've got two more here. And last one. All right, let's add a bit of leg movement here. So taking one knee up into tabletop, we're going to lower both arms as we extend that leg and return. Nicely done. Keeping that other foot on the mat for that bit of support, only taking this leg as far as you can control. Only taking the arms as low as you can control. As soon as you start to feel any arching in the lower back, just come back to that starting position. So if it's only a small movement to here and then returning, that's perfect. Exhale as you move away and lengthen. Inhale to return to the middle. Thinking about that length through all these muscles, pointing the toes, pointing the fingers away. Let's go for two more on this side. And last one here. Nicely done. That foot comes down, swapping to the other side. Exactly that same movement here. Focusing on that, keeping that neutral spine, small space on either side of the waist, not pressing the back down into the mat. Focus on the rib to hip connection as we lengthen, making sure the ribs aren't flaring up and the back isn't arching. Using the breath. Feel those core muscles waking up and working. I love the feeling of this lengthening and shortening. Two more here. And last one. Nicely done. Staying there in tabletop. Other leg is going to come up to meet meet the other one in tabletop. From here, we're moving into this dead bug movement. Nice name, I know. So staying with that similar movement, we're taking one arm and one leg at a time for this one. Extending and returning to the middle. So in this position, we should now have an imprinted spine. So lower back is flat on the mat, and we're only taking our arm and our leg as far as we can control whilst maintaining that lower back pressing into the mat. Exhale as you extend, inhale to return. Only taking the leg and the arm as far as you can control, making sure that back isn't arching. Keeping that imprinted spine. Nice work here. May just be a small movement for you. That's perfect. Remember, our focus is on technique. One more either side. Okay, both feet come down. Hands now come behind the head. Elbows out nice and wide to the sides here. Neck relaxed in the hands. From here, we're just moving into an abdominal curl. So as we curl up, taking one elbow to the opposite hip or towards the opposite knee, we're actually going to lift up that leg towards as well. So knee comes up as we curl and swapping sides. Focus on drawing those ribs down towards the opposite hip, lifting that shoulder up off the mat. Using your breath, exhale to curl up, inhale to lower. Doing really well here. Try to keep the head nice and relaxed. Really focus on that twisting motion, trying to keep the elbows out nice and wide. Your elbow doesn't have to touch the knee, but we really want to focus on that twist. Scooping through the lower belly, activating those core muscles. One more either side here. Nicely done. All right, let's move into crisscross. So feet come up into tabletop again, just where we were before. As we curl up and twist, the opposite leg extends, returning to that starting position and swapping. So imprinted spine here as we're in tabletop. There should be no space under the lower back, no movement occurring there as we extend the leg. Again, really focusing on that twist, making sure that the knee in tabletop isn't sneaking in as you curl up. We want to keep that knee really still to keep the tension on the abdominals. Last bit challenge here. Let's stay up, twist and swap for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Back to tabletop, lowering down. Legs come down as well. All right, transition the arms down by the side. We're gonna have a little rest from the core for the moment. Finding your feet in a comfortable position again here. A little bit away from the bottom. Knees hip width apart. Spine is just in a neutral position at the moment. Shoulder blades back and down, neck is relaxed. We're gonna start here with a pelvic curl. So tilting the hips back towards the mat to flatten the lower back into the mat, just like we would if we were imprinting the spine. Tipping all the way forward to make a space under the lower back there. And let's repeat that a couple of times. Tipping back to flatten the back, tipping forwards. You may find one direction feels easier than the other. Tipping back to flatten, tipping forwards. And on this one, we're going to tip all the way back, squeeze, and lift the bottom up towards the roof, slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Nicely done. In this top position here, we're making sure the ribs are connected to the hips, using those abdominal muscles. We're not flaring up or arching through the back. The glutes are squeezed, the hamstrings are squeezed. We're heavy through the heels here, activating the calf muscles as well. Maintaining that space between the knees and slowly rolling back down from here. Let's stay with that movement here. Pelvis tilts back, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Small hold at the top here and slowly lowering back down. Nicely done. Let's keep going here. Using your breath as feels comfortable for you. Make sure you're not breath holding. We've got a couple more here, and then we'll move into some different exercises. Big roll up and down. Squeezing to roll up and lowering. One more here. Nicely done. On this next one, we're going to stay at the top here, and we're adding a small little pulse. So bottom drops down, so the hips drop down, squeezing back up to lift. Just to that small little movement. Using your breath. Arms relaxed by the sides. Squeezing through the whole of the leg here, not just those bottom muscles. Really think about the quads being involved, the hamstrings are working. Feeling a bit of burn here. For 5, 4, keep the ribs down, 2, and 1. Holding at the top again. Taking the legs slightly out to the sides, abducting here, and squeezing back in towards the middle. Out and in. Again, making sure the core is staying engaged, particularly as you get a little bit fatigued. This is really working the whole leg, but also now these muscles on the outside to take the legs out to the side and then squeezing back into the middle. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Rolling down here nice and slowly. From here, taking the legs a little bit wider, the toes facing out towards the corners of the mat a little bit more. We're just going to target our inner thighs a little bit more here with this slight variation. So as we curl up, forcing the weight through the heels. So our knees should now be angled out in line with our toes, but our feet are also angled out to the sides here. So it might look or feel a little bit funny to start with. We're going to hold at the top here, bring the knees into the middle and back out. So like a flutter kind of movement, like a butterfly's wings, squeezing in and out. Nicely done. To add to this, taking the toes off the mat and lifting. All that weight should be through the heel now. Keeping the squeeze through the glutes to keep the hips up nice and high. Hopefully you're starting to feel it in your inner thighs. Really trying to squeeze into the middle as much as you can. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 here. Let's hold out to the sides, drop the bottom, little pulses here. Just like we were doing before, now our feet are in a slightly different position. Just drop those toes down if you need a little bit of extra stability. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, slowly rolling down. Nicely done. Legs come back to center. From here, legs go nice and long, and we're going to curl up into a sitting position. So taking your time, bring your arms over your head. If you can do this in one movement, please stay with me. We'll do a little bit of a challenge. Otherwise, if you need to use your hands to help walk yourself up, that's fine. Otherwise, we're going to use the core muscles as we curl up nice and slowly. If your feet lift a little bit, that's okay. And coming into sitting. Well done. All right. Now, slowly making our way around into 4-point kneel. We're going to work those glutes a little bit more to finish off this session. So hands come beneath the shoulders, knees below the hips. We're just going to start with a small movement through the spine, that cat-cow, just to move here for a moment as we recover from that work in supine. Dropping the chest, thinking about pointing the sit bones up towards the sky, and then swapping directions, curling up, really pushing up through that thoracic spine. Just in your own time, a couple more movements here. Nicely done. Coming back to find that neutral spine position here. Hands underneath the shoulders, fingers nice and spread for that bit of extra base of support. From here, let's start with some work on our left leg. So the right knee can come slightly towards the center of the body to make that extra base of support here. Shoulders are active and engaged, core is engaged, keeping the body in one nice long line, thinking about drawing the belly button in towards the spine. From here, left leg goes long, pointing nice and long here, returning back into center, squeezing to lengthen. Let's stay with this movement here. Squeezing those bottom muscles as you lengthen, pointing the toes long, making sure the back isn't arching. Really trying to focus on keeping that core engaged. We're going to really tire these bottom muscles out here. Staying with your breath as well. Exhale to extend. Inhale to return. Try to keep both hips facing down towards the mat. Make sure as you get tired, you're not leaning more towards that right hand side. Neck can just be neutral, eyes looking down towards the mat. 2 more here. And last one. We're staying extended, dropping the toes to tap and lifting back up. Again, making sure we're not arching through the lower back, keeping the core engaged, using those bottom muscles to drive this movement. If at any point your arms get tired, you can come and rest down onto your forearms. Just keep in mind that this will change the angle of your body. And we still want to aim for that leg to follow the line of the body. Just whatever position feels more comfortable for you. 3 more here. And staying at the top here for some pulses. Small little movements, really focus that squeeze of those glute muscles. You might feel the hamstrings working hard too. Core's engaged. Drawing that belly button in towards the spine. Elbows are soft, shoulders are working. for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nicely done here. Let's bend that knee in towards the elbow. Extend out again. As we bend in, crunching through the side waist, pointing long to extend. Let's stay with this here. So a small twist to crunch and extend. Staying stable on that other leg. Arms are supporting. Keeping the body nice and stable. Let's go for 3 more here. And 1 more. Nicely done. That leg comes in. Pushing back into child's pose for a quick pause until we go through onto the other side. Reaching the arms long. Have a couple of breaths. You can take a moment to grab a drink or a towel. Otherwise, let's shift forward again. Find that 4-point kneel position, and we'll get this other side working here. We're on the home stretch here. Again, hands underneath the shoulders. Fingers nice and spread to disperse that weight. This time, let's bring that left leg in towards center a little bit more to help with that base of support. Keep us nice and steady. Core is engaged. Belly button in towards the spine. Let's start with that extend, squeezing the bottom muscles, coming back to center. Extend, pointing the toes, and back to center. Exhale as you extend. Inhale to return to center. Stay with me here. Again, if you need to at any point, you can drop down onto your forearms to give your wrists or your shoulders a little bit of a break. Really squeezing that bottom muscle, working nice and hard here. I'm getting sweaty. So strange sometimes how you can get so sweaty in Pilates, just purely from a lot of concentration. 3 more here. Keeping that core engaged, not arching through the back. And last one, what's next? We're staying extended, tapping the toes, lifting back up. Strong through the abdominals. Focusing on that bottom, those hamstrings, to extend the hip up towards the sky. Doing really well here. Using the breath for 3, 2, 1. Pulses. You know it. You know the drill. You can either point the toes, or if that's putting too much of a stress on the calf or on the front of the shin, you can flex the foot as well. Whatever feels comfortable. Both of these will activate those muscles, so stay with me here. Focus on that core. Using your breath for the last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Staying here, we are crunching in and extending. I'm dripping. Crunch and extend. Bringing that knee in towards the opposite elbow. Sorry, the same side elbow, I should say. Crunching through the side waist and extending long. 3 more here. 2 and 1. Coming back to center. Spread the knees apart, again sitting back to that child's pose stretch. Hands go nice and long. Having a couple of breaths here. That is the hard work done for today. Let's enjoy slowing our breath down. When you're ready, walking the hands around to the side to stretch through the side of the body here. Really focus your breath on expanding up into that space. Walking the hands around to the other side. Same again, really opening up through that side of the body. And then coming back to the middle. Sort out your mess of hair like me. Bringing the hands forward, we're just going to move into pigeon stretch. So one leg comes up in towards that 90-degree position. If you have any injuries or issues with your knee, just be very careful with this movement. If it's uncomfortable, I can show you a different way to stretch the glutes here. Otherwise, we're bringing that knee as far forward as we can, thinking about dropping this hip down. Both hip bones are facing forwards. And we're really trying to stretch through the outside of the glutes here, those muscles we've been working hard on as well. If you want to intensify this stretch here, you can bring your body down towards the mat. Also bringing your foot further up towards that 90-degree position will also intensify that stretch. Let's breathe into it here for a moment. Relaxing the back leg as well. You can take the weight off the toes, make that leg nice and long. As you feel that strain release from that muscle, lowering yourself further down. It's a good kind of pain. All right, and slowly making your way out of that stretch, come back onto the hands, bring that back knee forward, taking the front leg back. And let's swap to the other side. Opposite knee forward, comes towards that 90-degree position. Shuffle forward there, take your time. Starting where is comfortable for you. And then as you feel you can move forward into that stretch further. Using the breath, focus on that area of the body, really releasing. Both hip bones should be facing down towards the mat to get the most out of this stretch here. Again, to enhance the stretch, you can bring your foot further forward to that 90 degrees. Drop your body closer down towards the mat. Again, focus on slowing your breath down as we come to the end of our time here. Okay, coming back onto the hands. Again, slowly unraveling yourself from that stretch. Just sitting back on the heels for a moment here. Let's finish with a nice big breath. Hands on the belly here. Big breath in, filling up towards the belly. Hold and blowing out. One more here. Holding for a moment and exhale. Give everything a bit of a shake and a shimmy. Thank you so much for joining me for today's session. I really loved it, and I hope to see you again next time.